Good afternoon, everyone. We want to welcome you to our webinar today. We're excited to have Donavan Lane and Jeff Pergolski from Innovia Consulting, and a special guest, Marty Pepper from Busch Systems, with us today. And the three of them will be presenting on improved cash flow by switching your annual enhancement to monthly. And before I pass it over to our presenters to cover on this hot topic, I just want to remind you that we are recording this session and it will be posted to our on-demand webinar library for you to review and share with anyone. And if you do have any questions, please feel free to type them into the questions box, but we will also have an open discussion to answer your questions as well. So now I'm going to pass it on over to Jeff to kick off our presentation.
All right, thanks Angie, and thanks everyone for attending. This is my 11 plus years at Innovia. Many of those spent as an account manager. Oftentimes I was asked the question about splitting maintenance payments for NAV or Business Central into a monthly option, and without jumping through a lot of hoops or finding third-party financing to do that, there was no way to get there. So this is a big step and a huge opportunity. Donavan is passionate about helping our customers and helping them get the most out of their system, whether it's from a functional standpoint or financially trying to purchase software and licensing in the most efficient way. So a benefit of Innovia being an early adopter and transacting in Office 365 8 years ago, I think, even before it was Office 365, is that we are positioned really well to be the first to be made aware and understand, I guess, most importantly, how this can affect our customers. So when this came out, just I think last week, isn't it, Donavan?
Yep. Actually, this week, Monday.
Okay, yep, so we were all over it, and without further ado, I'm going to pass it on to Donavan and let him talk about the specifics of what this means.
Actually, no, you're right, it was last week. Well, hello, everybody. Yeah, like Jeff said, this is an amazing release from Microsoft. My video, so we don't get distracted there, and Microsoft kind of listened, and we'll explain more about that. So just a little housekeeping. There's probably going to be lots of questions on this, and rather than going through typing questions and back and forth, if you want to hold on to those, I'm going to spin through this presentation in about 15-20 minutes tops, hopefully at very max by half an hour. And after half an hour, we're actually going to open up the mics. We're going to let everyone speak because there's going to be questions. They're going to be questions. Your questions that you have are going to be, relevant to everybody. And I've got some scenarios and examples. So anyway, so we'll do that about half past the hour, and then we'll see how that goes. So prepare your questions, write them down, but then prepare to talk about them openly. Right? So with that, we'll get started. This presentation is on taking your annual enhancement and making it monthly payments. And especially in these times of COVID, where cash might be a little tight, this might be important. But whether cash is tight or cash is not tight, this is a business decision that you can make on taking your annual enhancement and making it monthly. And it's an offer from Microsoft. It was actually kicked off by Innovia, where we helped spurn this about almost 2 years ago. We'll get into that. So Jeff Pergolski, myself, and we're very pleased to have Marty Pepper, one of our customers here. He is a VP of Operations at Busch Systems, and he is gratefully accepted to kind of be a scenario with their company and how we can mix and match some of these things. So we really want to look at this from the customer standpoint of view. We should always look at it from a customer standpoint of view. So with that, first thing, this is switching your enhancement to monthly. Microsoft now allows you to take that monthly payment, that annual enhancement, say in this example of Marty, where it could be $28,000, which is kind of a typical annual enhancement, divide it by 12 and pay it monthly. So let's that sink in. it is the reason I call it a CSP. There's many of you probably have or have not heard of the CSP program, but we were an early adopter of that 4 years ago with Project Madeira, way before it was kind of formalized. And CSP stands for Cloud Solution Provider. So when you buy your Microsoft Office licenses, when you buy a Office 365 E3, or a CRM license, a Microsoft Dynamics 365 for sales, or now Business Central Online, those are all done through the cloud program, and that's called Cloud Solution Provider Program. And we happen to be an early adopter of that, and that's kind of how we got part of this program to allow you to switch to monthly payments for enhancement. How that's done is through the CSP program. And so what that means is that it is actually a subscription, just like you were to buy a subscription for your Office. Say you pay a $20 subscription from Office 365 E3. This is doing it the exact same way, and that's how Microsoft is collecting the cash from you, or called the tax for annual enhancement. So we won't go too far into that. We'll show you that a little bit later. And then this basically is remarkably simple, and it spreads the payments out. That is it in a nutshell. So let that sink in just a little bit. And I'll go to the next slide. In order for you to go to monthly payments, right? And by the way, this is not a forever thing; it's a 3-year thing, and we'll explain more about that. But in order to go to that, you have to say yes to all of these. You have to say yes that you have an on-prem Microsoft license, so you cannot be in the cloud already. Right? Yes that you are current on your annual enhancement. If you are lapsed, beyond this year, you do not qualify. However, there is a caveat to that. Because of COVID, if cash got tight and you happen to have lapsed between January 1st and May 31st, they are forgiving that. So we'll explain. You must say yes to accept the Cloud Solution Provider link, CSP link. Many of you, almost all of our customers have done this already. Just like you are likely, we are your partner of record. The digital side of that, or the cloud side of that, is we are also your cloud solution provider. So many of our customers have already done that. Those that have not, we'll actually go through at the end of the session and show you how to do that. But so basically, just like you have accepted Innovia as your nav partner or Microsoft partner, you just click this link, and we're also your cloud partner. So same thing. It's a digital version of it. Next thing you have to say yes to is you have to buy enough Business Central Cloud users in order to be greater than or equal to your enhancement plan, and I'll explain that. In the big nutshell, say your enhancement is 28,000 yearly. You would probably, if you break that by 12, we'll show you a spreadsheet a little bit. It's basically dividing it by 12, and you buy that number of users. And again, sit tight on that. I'm going to show you a spreadsheet where those numbers break down. Lastly, you must pay the entire year every month, right? And if you cancel that, you are considered lapsed. And there's a question that we have with Microsoft. If that were to happen, which it shouldn't, 97% of our customers are current on the maintenance. Does a lapse fee revert to the original lapse date or to that month? We're going to find that out. So anyway, so you got to pay the entire subscription for the year. At the end of the year, you're going to choose to either stay on this or go back to annual. And then you can renew this for 2 more years after that. So you can actually pay monthly for the next 3 years if you keep all your ducks in a row. Yep. So let's the next. The benefits, obviously, it's not just the premium or essential license as well. It also allows you to use a combination of device licenses and team licenses. Okay? And by the way, this SKU, not only does it allow you to pay your maintenance, but it's also a $40 SKU. So it's a 60% off SKU. This is absolute no-brainer. I don't see, and Jeff, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't see any reason why any customer wouldn't want to do this. There's no downsides. You basically are getting a free ride to the cloud for the cost of your annual maintenance. And even if you don't want to go to the cloud, many people, they have so many web services or connections that going to the cloud is just not an option for them at this time, or they just want to stay on-prem. You can run this for 3 years and then continue on-prem. So there's really no downside to this program whatsoever. This is not just a NAV thing. It's any customers that are on GP, Solomon, and actually I'm going to take that back. It is I did double check. It is not AX. It's only NAV, GP, or Solomon, SL. And you're going to see too. You can also Microsoft will allow you. Many of you know the 3-for-1 offer to go to Business Central. If you go this route from a previous version to Business Central, you can actually get 4-to-1 for free, and we'll explain that. So a customer that has, as an example of 10 users on-prem, could get an additional 30 users for free for those 3 years. After 3 years, you have to pay for them, but still it would be a discounted amount. Important thing about those 4-to-1 users, it has to be applied for and accepted with Microsoft within 60 days of the activation. So if you go down this route, you switch over to monthly, and 3 months later you say, well, I need to add some more. You can't do it. So whatever you think you're going to need, add it at the activation time. You can always cancel these at the end of 3 years. You're not paying any more for those users, and I'm sure that those questions will come up shortly. Next is, like I said earlier, there's a lapse exception. If for some reason that your enhancement lapsed, I'm sure there's going to have to be a business case, which I think would be easy for anyone to come up with. But if you lapse between January and May, that they will allow you to get back on the plan. You're still going to have to. I don't exactly know if they're going to allow you to. They're going to forego the 3% penalty. Put it that way. But before that, no, it goes all the way back to wherever you lapsed. But again, it's a very small case. A 97%. We have a 97.6% recidivism rate with annual enhancement. So very few of our customers are ever lapsed. And the reason why is because of benefits. So after 3 years, this offer ends, you can, at that point, you can choose to stay in the cloud or go back or stay on-prem. You don't have to transition to either place. This is simply just a means of paying your annual maintenance, but it's giving you cloud licenses, and we'll explain that a little bit. So you could actually, if you were in Business Central on-prem, and you could actually replicate using the intelligent cloud services, your data to the cloud, and you could actually interact on the cloud as well. That being said, remember, you can only have an instance on-prem or in the cloud, not both. As far as only one is editable. If you've already paid your enhancement, or if your enhancement has been before this date, sorry, you have to wait till next year. This offer is going for an entire year though. So, and we'll explain the optimum times to do this. So just because you can do this monthly doesn't mean you should take part in this like this month. So for example, if your maintenance doesn't lapse until December, well then you won't do this until a few weeks before December. So the optimum time is about 2 to 4 weeks before your enhancement is due. So those of you that are planning on cutting a check to your partner for enhancement, hold it. Those that have already cut a check this week, talk to your partner real quick and ask them to not process that with Microsoft. Once they process it with Microsoft, show's over. There's no getting that money back. Microsoft, this is a holy grail. Their maintenance is a holy grail. They will not credit anything back. So if it's already done, water over the dam. You'll have to wait. And again, you need to order this about 2 weeks before your lapse date. I'm going to do a quick audio check. Jeff, Marty, you can hear me okay?
Yep, perfect, Donavan.
Yeah, good deal.
All good.
Okay, thanks, Marty. So how is this done? The easiest way to explain this is in a spreadsheet that's coming up. These licenses are they're really sacrificial. Microsoft, of course, they care if you go to the cloud. This is simply a way of taking your annual enhancement, dividing it by 12, and buying enough licenses per month that where after 12 months, the full sum equals your annual enhancement. That's it. But you can mix and match. And quite frankly, it's amazing. Now we've got 3 customers in the last 24 hours that had given the go to move this up to doing this. And they all said they want to go to the cloud. So one of the customers said they're not going to get there until later in the summer. So it's not right away thing. One said they're not sure if it's going to be this year, but for sure by next year. And so I think there's varying times, but you got 3 months, 3 years to go there if you want, and then even then you don't have to go to the cloud. But if you were to do that, you can mix and match licenses, and we'll use Marty's scenario with Busch Systems as an example of that. So there's a mix and match of premium and essentials. Now, and when you do premium and essentials, you have to go all premium or all essentials. You can't mix and match those two, right? But you might have device licenses or team licenses, and you'll see an example of that. All right, so let's dive right into it. I'm just going to give you a quick screenshot of this first, and you can see in Marty's case, their annual enhancement. But let's update that. In fact, I'm gonna come off for just a second now, and we're gonna drop to that. I'm gonna pull up a little spreadsheet, and let's go right here. So it's funny, when I was talking with customers this last week, many of them don't really care or even know what their software value is. But it is important, because your software value is really what you spent on that software, and your annual maintenance is simply a 16% calculation of that. So here's a number. Here's 16%. So this is what Marty pays annually. And in his case, just like others, they said, it's a little rough here this couple of months. They were going to pay for the maintenance, and then they called up and they said, Donavan, can we do something, even if it's just a couple of months? We just want to conserve our cash flow. They're doing well, but they're a little cautious of giving out cash. Just cautious is probably the way to put it. And so that's what actually predicated this. We had gotten hold of Microsoft and said, hey, we've got customers that really want to conserve their cash. And then we had other customers last year that had already paid for the maintenance. They wanted to go to the cloud. So Microsoft put this together, and I don't want to take credit that it's all for Innovia, but it was based upon this cloud add-on license that came out last year from one of our customers in Madison. And I was told that Innovia was the only partner in North America that actually purchased that subscription, which is kind of crazy. And they actually took it off the price list. So what that subscription was is if a customer already had maintenance, and let's say for argument's sake that they had paid through June 14th, but they wanted to go to the cloud in Business Central on January 1st. Well, Microsoft says, the customer says, well, hey, I already paid you $28,000 maintenance. Why do you want to charge me another $100 a month for all users to go to the cloud? So Microsoft came up with this SKU for $20 a month that was called a cloud add-on SKU, and they could pay that per user up until their maintenance stopped, and then they would have to go to the regular 40% off $60 SKU. Well, they took that thing off the price list, and we have customers that have it. They allowed the customers that have it to continue on, but then they came up with this one in its place, which is brilliant, because what this one does, it says basically whatever the cost of your maintenance is what you're going to get for this. And again, we'll wait for the questions. So it's about 20 after 1 right now. We're going to slam through this in about 5 minutes. So that we can wrap things up, and then at 1:30, hopefully on the time, we'll open it up for Q&A. So you'll notice that in Busch's case, let's just put some numbers in. They have 49 on-prem users, right? They have 16 device users, and they have 51. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's go here. So in Busch's case, they have 49 full users, right? And again, you can't mix and match these. They have 51 team members, and they have 17 cloud add-ons. Doesn't matter. first thing right off the bat, really don't care how many users you got on-prem. I'll let that sink in. All Microsoft is doing is trying to figure out what you can buy to equal or exceed $2,376 a month, which is 28,000 divided by 12. That is it. If you were to stay on the cloud, these numbers become important, but really, it really doesn't matter. So you'll notice for $23.70, you have to pay through the CSP program a minimum of $23.76. That's it. I'll let that sink in. Now, if Marty wanted to go to the cloud, which they do, what that equates to is around about 60 full users, if you rounded it up. So, by the way, this price per user is $40 per month, which is a 60% off price, which even that's a no-brainer, right? So if he did nothing else, he would have to buy 60 premium users in order to make that number work. Right? Again, you got to be greater than 23.76. But it's senseless for him to do that. But it's better to actually mix and match these so that when you do go to the cloud, it makes sense. So in this case, I'm going to make this 49, right? I'm going to make this say, and by the way, I would say the team members are casual users and device users are probably important. So I'd actually make this 17. Really doesn't matter how you do it, just plug some numbers in there. And you'll notice right off the bat, we've only got about $144 left. So just, plow some users in there and just keep going until it's equal or negative. So there's 43 maybe, round number, 43, 44, 45. Well, hey, how do you like that? That's should go buy a lottery ticket there. The ability to get that exact on those numbers, that's pretty rare. So all right, so that's our number. So basically, what you're going to do is I'm going to issue a subscription to Busch Systems for this exact SKU for 49 licenses. And by the way, let's stop there for a second. Interesting tidbit. Does everybody know the difference between a subscription and a license? They're not the same. A subscription is the product. A subscription is a product, and Microsoft gives you a 1-year guarantee on the price. It's not a subscription for 1 year. It's a price guarantee for 1 year. You can cancel a subscription at any time and get your prorated dollars back. You are not held to keep a subscription at any time, with the exception of like this one here, where it's required for the deal. Right? So a subscription is purchased, and then you add the number of users that you need to it in order to give the users. So licenses are users, subscription is a product. Okay? So basically, I go on to our partner source, and we have a really cool automated system that is tied directly into Microsoft that allows you to buy these subscriptions and licenses 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So those of you that buy your Office and you have to wait for your partner to add licenses on, you don't need to do that. In the Innovia world, our customers are allowed to go in and add their quantities right now. That means you don't have to buy extra licenses. It takes you 10 seconds to buy them. So you don't have to, but we'll keep going on that. I'm going down a rabbit hole. So, then we sell them a subscription for this at 45 users and this for 17 users. And that's how it works. They can certainly buy more than this if they want. And also, they're going to get, right? They're going to get this total here, which is 49 full users times 4 if they want. So if you wanted to, Marty could say, hey, I actually want to get an additional 147 users for free. And they would do that for the same price. You gotta be real. Now, you'll get that for 3 years. Then after 3 years, you're gonna have to pay whatever the price is at that time. Could be $40, could be $100, we don't know. So that is it. I'm going to lower this and we'll just go on to the next segment here. And thanks for keeping me on track. It's a 3-step process. First step is you accept the CSP relationship from Innovia or from your partner. And we're going to show you how that works. It's crazy simple. It does need to be accepted by an admin within inside your office online. We also realize that not everyone has a Microsoft account, believe it or not. So I would say probably a good 20% of our customers don't have one. That's okay. Innovia can create one for you. Interesting question. What if my partner is not part of the CSP program? Many of them are not, and many of them are not direct CSPs with Microsoft. They go through a distribution channel. If your partner is not part of the CSP program, you can actually get this from Innovia. I don't encourage that because you definitely want to do this with your partner. But if for some reason your partner says, nope, not going to do it, you can buy this from Innovia and you can relegate it to a monthly amount. Yep. Of course, that is not going to make your partner happy. And by the way, many partners, this annual maintenance is a good chunk of their cash flow. So giving up that cash flow, if they're, it depends on their finances, but giving up that cash flow is going to be tough for them. We're pretty privileged at Innovia here. We're very financially sound. We can easily weather the cash storm of this for years. So we appreciate being that financially sound. So next step, after you accept that link, then we analyze your annual enhancement amount, just like you saw with the spreadsheet, plug your number in, and then boom, we order it from Microsoft, and we order it. We send that confirmation over to Partner Source, and we tell them that you've got these subscriptions. We give them confirmation of that, and then boom, they make your annual enhancement active. At that point, lucky you, not only can, and by the way, there's downgrade rights, so you can use this cloud-based integration or the means of paying for annual maintenance and the cloud tenant, even if you have NAV 2009, Navision 5.0, it's completely backwards compatible, downgrade rights to your current version. So how that works, I don't want to get on a big rabbit hole, we'll leave that for questions, but we basically generate a license for you and then you load that up on-prem. That's it. So step number one, and we're going to get low on hair time. I'd actually like to, I think at this point, I'm going to actually open up the mics, because a couple things we're going to do. I'm going to walk you through how simple it is to accept the CSP relationship. And by the way, the CSP relationship doesn't mean you're being sold anything. It just means that you're choosing, you might want to do business with somebody, or for Innovia customers, this is how we are your partner. So like I said, 90% of Innovia customers already have this in place. But if for some reason you're not, if you're on this call, I can walk you through accepting it right now. You do need to be an admin. And by the way, when you accept that link, it's just like any other accepting your license policy. You are saying that Innovia is your admin as well, but you can revoke that. So for some reason that you don't want us to support you, you just want us to sell something to you, that's very possible. But if you want support on Business Central or NAV from your partner, they do have to be the admin. So sometimes it's not easy for your security person, your IT person to digest, but it is required. So you can always turn it off though, so if there's a security issue, we can talk about that. So Angie, the other two steps are analyzing numbers and just confirming the subscription. So I think at this point, I'd actually like to go through this step, maybe just one or two, so you can see how easy this is. So Angie, why don't you go ahead and open up the mics?
All right, everyone, I have unmuted you. So if you just click the microphone next to your name, you should be able to ask your questions.
Right. So why we did that is you might not want to answer your question right away, but in case someone gets stuck, Angie, how many people do we have on the call? About 20, 18?
About 16 total.
16. All right. So there's only 16 of us. So this is this is not a huge thing, so we should be able to handle this. I'm going to show you how this works on my screen, and then you can follow along with me. So what I want you all to do that on the call right now is on your screen, open up a browser and go to this link right here, Innovia.com/CSP. And by the way, if you can do this multiple times. So even if you just want to go through this exercise and you've already, and Innovia is already your CSP, you can do it again. You can do it again 1,000 times. In fact, if you were to remove delegated admin rights, going through this process and clicking this is what puts it back on if you want support. So I'm going to show you on my screen kind of what that looks like. Okay. So let's go here. All right. So I'm here as Lucky Lane Properties, right? And let's go here and let's go back 1 second. In fact, I'm just gonna show you. Yeah, that's good. All right. And here. All right. So if you go to that website, so go to Innovia.com/CSP. And why don't we all do this together? And I'll wait for you. And if we could have a couple of volunteers that kind of do this and then tell us your experience. So once you're at that site, you scroll down and it says making Innovia your CSP. And by the way, you can do this even if we are not your partner. It doesn't mean we're going to sell you anything. All it's doing is saying you want to establish a relationship, but Innovia doesn't sell you anything, and unless you say you want something. So scroll down, and then you're going to see this Get Started link. Go ahead and click that. And I'll wait. And by the way, those of you that for some reason aren't to that, this is a screenshot of what it looks like when you do that. Okay? So let's go ahead and click Get Started now. And by the way, you can always revoke this. So it's not like this is going to commit you to anything or start anything or erupt anything. No, it's not. Now, when you get to the screen, wait a little bit because it's actually doing some thinking. This is going to log into your admin portal. And I like to describe, accepting a CSP link as you can have lots of mommies and daddies that love you. So you can have lots of CSPs. You could have a CSP, like, Innovia could be your CSP for Business Central, but you could use a different partner for NAV. You could use a different CSP for SharePoint, a different CSP for Azure. Most customers want one throat to choke. They really only want to get billing and they want to get support from one company. But you can, I've gone in, I've seen some customers that have 6 or 8 or 10 different CSPs because you typically want to buy your licenses from those that you have that do the work. Right? And we don't support, for example, every product on the planet. We only support NAV and Office. So anyway, so now click the word authorize. And you'll think a little bit. And let it do its thinking. Go ahead and just give it a second. And then boom, that is it. And you'll notice when that comes up, you might have a whole list of different partners that are CSPs. And then you'll see Innovia in there. Now, so let's wait with that and let you start that. Again, I'll give it just a couple minutes, 30 seconds. So you cannot enter the program of monthly annual enhancement without clicking that link. So anybody that's on this call that wants to do that needs to click the link in order to make this happen. That's requirement number 1. All right, now let me show you what happens if say you got an IT person that says, I just do not want to have a CSP be a global admin. That's okay. You can click this link, you can go into it, and you can say, you know what, I want to buy from you, but I want to know security-wise, you know, when you're in the system, or when you're, or I just don't want support from you. I just want to buy from you alone. Now, our customers on NAV, we don't allow that. We need to be able to support you, so we have to have that admin rights. But you know, if for some reason you chose not to do this, or chose that you don't want them as global admins, you simply go back in and remove the admin roles, and boom. And now Innovia can sell this, but not be an admin, and it's that simple. So you're completely secure. And by the way, with Microsoft, as a direct CSP, we are required to have incredible security levels. So not only do we have multi-factor authentication for every one of our employees, no one can touch anything without having some sort of device connection, but we are also secured. With Microsoft, we are security clearance, government, GCC, and GCC high, government high. So we can actually provision Office subscriptions and business subscriptions to government entities that hold sensitive arms data, what's called ITAR and other things. So, all right, so that is it. Let's stop there for just a second, and then the next step is, once that's done, by the way, I'll also show you what our customers can do once that that you're set up with us, is when we issue these subscriptions, this is what our portal looks like, which is just an amazing thing. So if our customers sign on, they can log in like this, and then they can go to their subscriptions like this, and they can actually manage their subscriptions through our portal. And to give you an idea how that works is, let's just say, for example, that you want to add one more Business Central license, or an Office license. For many of our NAV customers, we provide all of their Office licenses and all of your licensing needs for Microsoft. Not only Office licenses, but Azure licenses, and all the support that goes along with it. Also volume licenses, even for servers, on-prem servers. So watch how easy this is. Now, some of you on this call might not be a customer of Innovia, and if you want to add another business premium license for Office, you might have to give your partner a call, or say that you're direct with Microsoft. You know, if you have to call somebody for this, you know, we had customers have to wait, you know, 2 or 3 days before they get the license added on. Not so here. This can be 24/7. Watch how simple this is. We have 2 here right now. Say I want to make that 3. I simply open up the subscription, and we're actually okay for time. And then I change the quantity from 2 to 3. It's always the total quantity. Let the system do the math. And then click submit. And boom. Within seconds, that system is, our systems are connected directly with Microsoft. So within inside of 40 seconds, at a maximum 40 seconds, that subscription is going to be provisioned, license is going to be provisioned. And you'll see it right here if you were to go through. And we need to wait a little bit. And then once that's provisioned, and we'll give it one more time and just let it do its cooking. Now it's provisioned. See how quickly that was? And then you can actually assign that to the user. Let's go here and let's manage licenses, and let's grab it, and say it's one of these, and I want to take that license and I want to assign it to Andy. Boom. As soon as that's submitted, that it's actually right now going right back to your portal and assigning that license, and it is done. It is that simple. So that's our portal. It's 24/7. It's very simple to use. All right, let's go back to step 3. The last step. So we analyze the numbers, and we'll help you with that with any questions. And then obviously we have to go and submit that to Microsoft, and then you're live on your maintenance. Here's all we ask. You know, we obviously partners are going to be, you know, greatly influenced by this, because we don't have your money up front for a year. or actually we don't have your money, it actually goes to Microsoft anyway. So it is a hit to cash flow for most partners. And all we ask is that in return for that, because we can't collect that tax anymore, call it say, is that give us, if you like what we're doing and you like the ability to pay us monthly, let us provide your office licenses. If you don't have a relationship right now with anybody for your Microsoft Office licenses or Azure, if you don't know who they are, or especially if you're Microsoft Direct, let your account manager know you can transition those over to Innovia. We make a little bit of money off them, and by the way, we can save you a ton of money because if you are direct with Microsoft, they don't want to deal direct anymore. We can actually get your money back. So let that sink in for just a second. We can actually get your money back. So if you prepay to Microsoft for direct for either 1 month or a year, they will give you a prorated portion of that back. So say that your licenses are $1,000 a month, and you will get credit on your credit card for up to $1,000 a month prorated from the date that the date of the month that your plan starts. Even for the year, say you're 6 months into the year, they'll give you 6 months back. So not only do you get your money back, but then with Innovia, we set you up on our billing system, and then you get a little bit of float there. So you can definitely save some money. Another way to save money that we've seen is people buy extra licenses because they're kind of painful to get, especially if you don't have someone that's got a portal. So with our customers, they only buy the exact number of licenses that are signed. They don't get any extra at all because they can simply go on it quickly and get more licenses. Right? So you saw how the portal works. You saw how to assign users, and I guess we're going to open it up for questions then.
Awesome. Hey, Donovan, I've got a question just that we've heard from the first couple customers that we've been working with. What about, so this is their Microsoft maintenance. How does this affect their ISV maintenance?
Good question. So you still have to pay your ISV maintenance annually if that's how they do it. This is only for Microsoft. That's it.
Okay.
There are some ISVs that are on the forefront, and they've kind of switched over their annual enhancement to a subscription plan. And you can do that. Jet does that. Jet now has subscriptions versus annual. It's what they need to do is something like this, where Microsoft gives you just an insane amount of free users, and it's basically free for the cost of your maintenance. Most subscriptions, the subscription price itself is higher than over time than the purchase price. So you might want to look at that, but this one here is a no-brainer. So I know Jet does, I know ChargeLogic does, and some other ISVs do, where they actually have a subscription-based plan.
Gotcha. Thank you. Any other questions out there?
And your mic is open if you want to unmute. Mark, did you have any questions?
No, I was just going to comment if you wanted my 2 cents on the
Sure.
when you sent me the email last week, like cash flow was cash has been tight with COVID-19, so actually that was great. But 2 of the other benefits, which from a customer point of view, having a pathway to upgrade to on the cloud versus on-prem is a huge value for Busch Systems, as well as with the extra licenses. Once companies go back to sort of normalcy, where they have more people working again, requiring more licenses, instead of making the investment with multiplying your number of licenses, that's a benefit for the customer as well. So this was really well received by us. So I really appreciated the call and getting that information. So thank you.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Some partners are going to embrace this. Especially the ones that are financially sound. Others are not, because they're. I can only imagine the call that when you sent your check out to them already, and having to give it back. but it is the way of the future. Like Marty said, the reality right now is cash is king, and this certainly, Marty, did this help Busch?
Oh yes, for sure, because I was dreading the bill coming or paying the bill in June. So this actually made things, it's a lot easier to come up with $2,000 a month versus 28,000. So US.
Yeah. Yeah. So another question, if I commit, well, it is a commitment to 1 year, and again, they can't control you canceling a subscription, but if you cancel, you will lapse, and then there'll be a 3% penalty. So you have to continue for 1 year. But then after 1 year, you can choose to go back to paying it annually if you want. And we had some customers that they're fairly flush with cash. It's easier for them just to cut one check. Certainly continue on. This is actually a pretty neat chance though to basically go to the cloud for free for the cost of your maintenance, which is unique. Because remember, those cloud licenses are $100 a piece. Now you're going to get 40% off because you already own NAV. But if you go this way, not only do you get your maintenance paid for, but if you were to continue on, boom, you're at 60% off. It's a no-brainer. So. All right. Well, we'll give it about 10, 15 more seconds. I've learned from Microsoft that ask a question and then wait for 7 seconds, which is like eternity. We'll give it 10 seconds and see if anybody has more questions.
You must have done such a good job, Donavan, that no one has any questions.
All right. Well, if you do, you can see up on the screen there. Reach out to Jeff Pergolski. His phone number is right there. Email address there. Obviously, myself as well. Your account manager. All of Innovia knows what's going on with this plan. So your account manager is fully versed in it. Just make sure that you get this done before you lapse. It will not work after you lapse. You're going to have to wait 1 full year. And this plan is only available until June 1st, or June, I'm not sure if the end of June, of 2021 for 1 year, and then it's gone. So, all right, with that, I will just check out our upcoming events, which, and by the way, if you've never seen or heard our podcast with Jeff Pergolski and Steve Waltz, it is absolutely, it's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. Jeff, you want to say something about that?
Yeah, actually, Donovan, it's not supposed to be entertaining at all. It's supposed to be informational. So the fact that you find it hilarious is mildly concerning. But yeah, actually, Steve and I have a lot of fun with it. We're talking about everything, sort of across the board as it relates to ERP. We've got employees that we introduce you to, our sales and delivery staff and leadership. We've got, we're recording our first one later this week with customers, telling customer stories, and we've got ISVs on there, as well as talking about other relevant information, Microsoft Azure, Microsoft 365, all kinds of good stuff. So it's available from our website, Innovia.com. I believe it's on our YouTube channel. It's if you search the Innovia Conversation on any of your podcast platforms, we're easy to find. So please add to the 14 people who have already subscribed. And I'm kidding, we've got dozens and dozens now. But yeah, as well. And then I don't know, Angie, if you typically jump on and talk about any other upcoming webinars or what our next events are, or if we just send them to Innovia.com/events.
Yes, Jeff. I just want to thank you all for presenting today, and everyone on our webinar, thank you for watching us. And if you're on demand watching us, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate that. We do have a few more webinars coming soon. Tomorrow we have John Grant and Jenny Hollingsworth from Innovia Consulting. They're going to be continuing their Business Central for Manufacturing 101 series, and they will be presenting on planning worksheet tips, tricks, and best practices. And also on Thursday this week, we have Mitch Brown from Data Haven presenting on, ever ask yourself, where's the file? Here's your answer. So check out our website for more of our upcoming events, and that's innovia.com/events. And thank you, Jeff, for letting them know about the podcast. I won't have to do that part. And then also, Innovia Consulting is a proud sponsor of Summit Community. I'm sorry, Community Summit. They changed their name. We are going to be down there, hopefully, October 6th and 9th in Nashville in person. So Summit is an annual gathering for all Microsoft Dynamics Nav and Business Central users and supporters. And this event is full of great sessions to help develop leadership skills, improve Nav VC skills, and learn how to get more from the investment our companies have made in the tool we use to run our businesses every day. So check out our conference page, and that's innovia.com/conferences for more details and to save on your summit registration. All right, everyone. Well, thank you again for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you again soon on another Innovia webinar. Have a great day, everyone.